So I have this channel because I want to talk about things when I want to talk about them, and I don't have much battery, but I'm recording this like I try to do most of the time, of course, previously on the computer. And I want to talk about polarity. If you're new to the channel, at the moment I'm really obsessed with magnesium and the periodic table of elements and how that is related to the whole 5G theory, but it looks like truth, but let's just say theory at the moment, that they are they are harming mankind with vibrations or frequencies, whatever you want to call it, that come from 5G towers. And I want to understand how these other poisons that are in the world, including chemtrails or chemical trails, or what's been added to our foods, or what is in injections, all injections except maybe the saline, which is salt water, and and the clothes, like almost everything we have on. I had a very good conversation with my dear friend Melissa. I don't know if she's watching, but we had a beautiful conversation the other day, and she taught me, as she always does, to look at things in another way, and it's been awesome. To consider the idea that our sheets, because I said, I got the girls organic nightgowns, 100% cotton organic, and it was not easy to find, but I got them online. I hate buying online because I love to shop locally and support stores that are paying rent and employing people, and I can see their faces and give them comments and give them love and pay their price, because I know how it is to pay rent and have a business. So, but I couldn't find any. I've been looking all around everywhere, and it's very hard to find 100% cotton. So we need people to start growing cotton. I'm going to grow cotton in my garden. Holy cow. I'm going to grow cotton in my garden, right? Because what Melissa said was that linen, which is evidently like the strongest cotton. I know a little bit about linen in Colombia, the finest clothes you could have on the coast of Colombia, and the coast meaning the hot weather past the Andean mountain range, which is like, can be up to like 5 hours inland on not so crummy roads. That climate is like Central Florida in the summer, maybe like 9 months year round. So the most comfortable thing is the linen. And I, as a kid, was like, gosh, it wrinkles, but it's because it's good for you. And what Melissa said is that it has vibrations, that because if it was grown right in the right soil, without arsenic, without pesticides, without blah 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 blah, and it was God's water and good organisms, women and men and animals running around on it, that was natural, then it created vibrations that are, oh my gosh, am I recording? Yes, okay. It creates vibrations that are ideal for the body. I want to live to 150, and I really believe that it should be easy. It's not supposed to be hard, and that's what you can count on me for, is talking about things that have to do, I believe that trying to get an idea of how things work spiritually and otherwise, but more than anything, empirical, mechanically, observable, that we can all kind of support with different experiences in our life. I just had the most wonderful conversation with a couple of older people from Pennsylvania. I mean, older, like 10 years older than me. And they were awesome. And I was talking about potassium, and she was like, yeah. She's like, that's crazy, because I looked up the word potassium to find out if really potassium, like how people tell you that bananas are good for when you have cramps. So I had a cramp on my leg, my calf. This is like last year. Sorry if I already told this story in another podcast. But I was like, oh, people say to eat a banana because of the potassium. So I said, girls, let me look this up. So I looked up, how is potassium extracted from a banana? And it said something like, put the banana on a stove and burn it. Then that's potassium, and you will get potassium. Look all this up. This is how I remember it, and I haven't gone back. So, and then So then I looked up, who discovered potassium? And of course, we have somebody from the other old continent. A gentleman, of course, I think of England, or one part of the United Kingdom, who said that he discovered it by burning a potato to ash. So potato ash, potash, is potassium. So from that, we are told that bananas, that avocados, that's a new one that I found on my search, and that, of course, I think the older one is potatoes, that's where we have a very key ingredient for health. Okay, I know there's a lot in between there. I have this channel for this reason, that we can respectfully and lovingly communicate with each other. And let's talk about potassium. And then we'll go back to magnesium. But let's go. You guys, let's go. You're obviously here because you like interesting, I think, conversations. And there's not enough time in the day for me because I am so interested in so many topics, and I really think they're going to turn off the internet. So I think we all have to work really hard, and that's why I'm buying books, and that's why I'm just seeking other like-minded people to let's get ahead of this curve and let's live. This wonderful podcast that I think I posted that I'm listening to again is so good, and it's Steve Falconer with Bob Nodal and Kyle, Zach, and Cammie, she's amazing. And they're talking about why would they hide the flat earth. And it's a really good conversation, and it's just opening our minds up to things, and how much we've expanded. When he recorded this was a few years ago, and just seeing how all of us have and then things we've forgotten about that we discovered earlier and that we forgot about and that we can now integrate with the new knowledge that we have, because now we understand this more, and I'm on this stage with this and you're on that stage with that, and somebody understands electricity more than me. Please, come on, electricians. Come on, let's go. I'm starting to think. So I did the salt rock electricity experiment, right? With my friend, hired, wonderful Victor handyman. And then we went to my bar, and I introduced him to everybody, and we were talking to my bartender. I forgot this. This is a great story. And he was a new bartender that I didn't know very well. And I'm have been not involved in the day-to-day. So when I come to the bar, I'm it's my home, but these are new people, and I feel kind of bad. But I'm I don't feel bad, but I'm I want to know them, but I want to know them quickly, and I want to see how they work and how well they work. And this guy's great. Really great. Really great. And I was hey, I'm doing this experiment to see if we can make electricity through salt. And he goes, I've done the lemon experiment, that he had actually made electricity with the skin of the limes in Colombia. Well, Old World Florida did a really good video on citrus, and I grew up here. I'm here, sitting by a lake. There was a big storm, so I decided not to drive. And you can hear the choo-choo train that you also hear when I record at my house. So this is Central Florida citrus land, and as a person who's worked quite a bit in marketing and propaganda, and as I explained to this lovely couple who has helped much government money, your money, go into a third world country because of my skills of spinning propaganda that I believed in. I now know that I had many blind spots, and I still have many blind spots. But I think that seeking to, maybe just make them blurry instead of blind is a good step. And that's through conversations, questions, formulating questions, and just letting the mind go in a lot of different directions. I really believe that, because the classic education used to be that. Was you got it all in. And I think that one of the main things we can do for young people today, and adults, frankly, is try to somehow get into nature. People who have small farms or whatever, and they have animals that are pregnant, like a cat, dogs, goats, horses, cattle, hell, whatever, and watch a mammal giving birth, or see the first few minutes, or whatever. Like, but witness it with your own eyes. Because I saw my horse being born when I was 6 years old, and that really set a lot of things out for me in life, I realize now. Because it was like, oh, beautiful, okay, came out of her. And then our dog came over and ate the placenta. And my brother can attest to this. We were together. We have to talk about it. There's a picture of me with my brother behind me. I'm going to find it. And I'm holding my horse's chin like this. And he was so beautiful. And he was a real jerk too later. But I'll talk about his personality later. But he was a cute baby. And I saw him pop right up on his feet. Again, I saw my dog eat the placenta, and everybody around me going, the adults, I mean, it was like my mom, and maybe my dad wandered down. And my father was an obstetrician gynecologist. So, gosh, what a great experience. And I've never seen a woman give birth in my life. And I gave birth twice, and I had no drugs. And I just don't really have any interest in seeing that yet, because I want to keep absorbing information, and just I'm working really hard on going with the flow. And I think that flow is has something to do with the ether in the air, and maybe the more salt that we have in our body, we're in more coordination with the air, because the air is also kind of like the ocean. And we're really good in the ocean. We all know we love to be in the ocean. And we were born in our mommy around water. And we need to talk about that liquid that the babies live in. That's got to be like super intense salt water. I'm going to end on that. Anyway, please comment. And I want to welcome whoever is out there and has recently subscribed to my channel. This is so exciting that you're here to just listen to interesting ideas, and I hope they're interesting to you, and to spread them in your town, and to just do that. This is a non-monetized channel. I am not looking to make money. I want to repeat that. I have a need to express. My degree in university was radio, television, whatever you want to take for that bullshit. It was the easiest major I could take, because I just wanted to have fun and party, and I loved being free from the farm, which I now recognize, wow, how misguided I was. But how, because the responsibilities of the farm were so much, right? So I left at 17, and thought it would be really fun to be like the nice, friendly lady on the morning news, you know. And then, like, in my junior year, people were like, not people. I went to Miami to visit my brother. He was living down there, and his wife, and he was a model, and they had young children, and it was the time of Katie Couric, who was a very famous, and is a newscaster on like the main, like NBC or BBC network in the United States. But she started in Miami, as I recall. Maybe I got mixed up, but I'm pretty sure that was her. And I was a junior in college, and she was like, how do you feel now that your father died in front of you, and blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, because they told us in college that you had to start from the bottom and then go up. And she had been a newscaster in Miami, and I was like, there's no way that I would ever intrude on the morning, or creating fear. Like, I just don't like to create fear. And I think that when people work with animals in a let's say in a workman-like fashion, like your animals are useful, or you want to make them animals that you enjoy and like because they behave well when your guests come over and don't yap at everybody and are sweet and bring you gifts, like my cats, who are outside cats, bring us dead birds and stuff to show how much they love us, and we give them scraps, and there's a nice, and they keep the rats away, and I don't know. But I do know, as a child who grew up with a lot of animals, more than most, I realize now, in a very organic way, that creating fear is the worst thing you can do. Like when you approach a horse, and you guys, I have little videos up, you can see me, I ride decently. I feel confident I could pretty much ride any horse you put in front of me. Like, but I mean that in a sense, like I have that confidence in my ability to read energies, and if this horse is crazy, I'll be like, I cannot ride him. Like, but that's from a lot of time and a lot of embarrassing moments. A lot of embarrassing moments with horses, and always dreaming that they would be wonderful, and always wanting all of the animals to act like Snow White and to just like come to me and all of that. And you know what's interesting is my daughters will attest to. I do have a good relationship with animals. Like they do kind of come over to me, and some at sometimes, and maybe that's when the salt is up, right? So. It's been very nice to talk, and I'm going to post this, I think, later, because I feel good, and I know I went in scattered many directions, and if there's anything that I should continue on that I forgot, please tell me. But I think that it's a beautiful day, that we're blessed, and that God is great, and however you want to look at your belief system and whatever, please keep it close to natural law, which is this gorgeous system. And I don't even like the word system because it's just so much bigger than that, of how everything works really well together. And I'm going to end on this. I met this master gardener woman named Pat, who was in her, I mentioned this before, but I'm going to say it again. In the downtown market, she was a volunteer or part of the extension service of the state that offers like encouraging gardening in Central Florida, where there's arsenic in the soil, whatever. So anyway, I said, hey, we bought this house, and I remember thinking I should probably put a pretty lawn because that's what people do, and I've been in apartments since I was 17, except for the last thing we rented in Bogota, but really, I haven't had the house experience since I was a child. And she said, and my neighbor said, don't do it because it's just slavery. You have to keep your yard maintained and stuff. So I thought that was really great and kind advice because he has a beautiful yard. So this lady says to me, you know that when birds fly over the manicured, or not even, forgive me, the yards that have pesticides and fertilizers, they see that as dead land. That's a lot of the beautiful parts of the town in the world. I love looking at beautifully designed landscaping, but if it's with pesticide and whatever bad things for our soil that confuse nature, we have to really look at that. You know what I'm going to look at? Georgia is known for having peach trees, which we should look at. But beyond that, Atlanta, there was some story, and it must be now like 20 years. But they said that the city bought a whole bunch of trees that were that were all female, I think. Yes, this would make sense, but I'm not sure. I don't know anything about trees and botany, and I'm just learning, so I don't want to pretend like I know. But anyway, they one gender of tree, and so then it was awful because whenever the season came, the entire city was flooded because nobody thought about the importance of having the male and the female. So that's so beautiful to consider, and that everything is so gorgeously coordinated and complementary. Alrighty. Talk to you later, and thank you so much for being here, and God bless you. I'm sending warm vibes. Ooh, good, and my battery thing just came up. Warm vibes, love, spread the love, and speak truth, you guys. We can't lie. It's hard as hell, but it's the most important thing, and it gets easier.